Discord, and they're always very active, welcoming community of people who we have people from all over the world that join our Discord and get help. And like I said, there's other orgs that do similar things to what we do that might be more local to where you are. So you can actually meet those people in person if that's something you want to do. So I would recommend to go out and look for those groups as well. Part of what I was doing here at GDC was a organizers mixer and roundtable where we brought community organizers from literally every corner of the earth came to the event from Australia, New Zealand, China, Japan, North America, South America, Europe, Africa, not sure, and a few from Eastern Europe. So it was people from everywhere are doing exactly what we're doing here in Seattle, and that is building welcoming communities of independent game developers to help support each other and provide space to learn from each other and connect and be connected to this global industry that we're all a part of and passionate about. So it's not just us, it's not just IGADA. There's plenty of other people dedicated, passionate in parts of the world that you can connect with and find and go participate in their events. But as I said, you're also welcome to join Seattle Indies events on our Discord. But if you want to find something more local, I'm sure it exists. Sorry, my computer's doing a lot of stuff in the background. Uh, Anyways, yeah. So like I was saying, you can join there and find your people to connect with. Just give me 1 second here. Technical problems. Anyways, yeah, and like I mentioned, we do lots of events that happen through Seattle Indies, and these could be happening in your local area as well. Like I said, a game jam is a great way to meet people, and it's a great way to connect with studios if you're organizing a community and you want a local game studio or business to be a part of it. You can invite them to come in and be judges or mentors, and it doesn't even have to be games people. It could also be people from like tech related businesses that are interested in games that might want to come in and judge a contest and be a part of that. Or you have them come in and be mentors. Like that was sort of how I built the relationships with the local studios in our area, was having them be mentors at our events. Like they don't always have 48 hours to come in to a game jam and spend the whole weekend there with people, but they can come in for a couple hours and contribute and answer questions and feel like they're a part of it and like they're giving back, and they can connect to our community and you and your developers and you start building a reputation for yourself and your community, and then that can often lead to better relationships and them potentially sponsoring an event down the road. Or uh, we started out with just asking for prizes like t-shirts or controllers or game peripherals or game codes. Even like Steam codes for games are easy for game studios to give out. So those are all ways to really like kickstart a relationship with a local studio if you have one in your area. If you don't, or you're not in an area where there's a lot of developers, you can also ask them to be speakers at your events virtually. You could set up a Zoom, set up a room in a Discord, have them join, give them the link, promote it to your community, and just find a topic that people are interested in and find a person that's willing to do that. And it's now easier than ever with all the interconnected technology that we have to bring people from all over the world to your community. And as I mentioned, us indie developers especially like to do that sort of thing and support communities. We might not always know where you are, but if you reach out to us on social media or through emails, we'll typically respond and love to support events and like that in your part of the world. And Seattle Indies is definitely open to that sort of thing. So you feel free to reach out to us and ask us to be a part of those things if you are interested. Uh, and then, yeah, somebody asked, they have an indie short. I would like to get a small game built around it. Indie film, short film that they want to get a game built around. If you and your team want to build that game, there's plenty of tools out there where you wouldn't have to learn a whole engine like Unity. You could try Game Maker is maybe a little bit easier than Unity for some people to understand and work with, and you can build really amazing games with that. And there are like low cost and free versions that are definitely cheaper than like a Unity license if that's a high barrier to entry for you. Um, there's tools like yeah, somebody mentioned in the chat that Godot or Godot, however you say it, is simple and free. That's a alternative engine to engines like Unity or Unreal. Open source. There's a large support community around it. You can download it and start using it and learn it. Find people who are using it to connect with and ask questions. Um, there's tools like Blender, which is a graphics tool that is free that you can download and use. There's all sorts of free tools, and that's definitely something that is good to connect with our community and learn about is any community really. Go find your people who are already doing the thing that you want to be doing and ask them how they did it, and they'll often tell you all the tools that you could want to use. Uh, yeah, and there's plenty of YouTube tutorials out there these days to learn just about any game development software. You sit down for an hour or two. That's what we do every week at our co-working session is we have people who come with no experience and we sit them down with tutorials from YouTube usually and get them on their way. And so that's another really good way to start on your path as a game developer. Um, I think we've covered most of what I had in my slides. In terms of community support, but yeah, if you are just getting started out, there's plenty of ways to find support in your local community, your online communities. And as I said, if you don't have a community, then start one. Find like all you need is one other person in your area that wants to talk about, meet about, and connect about making games, and you just start building it from there and growing it into a supportive and collaborative community. And search on Discord for game development communities. There's plenty uh, to find and connect with and learn from. The software tools are much more available and free in some cases to use, or there's trial versions that you can play around with. I think even with Unity, it's free up until a certain point until you start actually selling the game. If you're just trying to make a game that you want to publish for free and you want people to play, you can just throw it up on itch.io, like I mentioned earlier, the site for game jams. You can put a game there and people can download it or just play it right in a browser. Um, if you're trying to sell the game, then the main platform is Steam. Uh, Owned by Valve Software. It's the largest PC games market, which, if you're not familiar, definitely go check that out. It's fairly easy to get set up with a developer account there and upload games to sell and publish on Steam. There's also, Xbox, PlayStation, Nintendo, Microsoft, or Epic, sorry, that all have their own online stores. There's GOG, which is another one. There's the Humble Bundle store, all different places where it's super easy these days. The bigger platforms like Microsoft, Sony, Nintendo, those are a little bit more challenging and have a whole certification process to get published on their platforms. And you usually need some kind of connection with a representative, or you go on their website and sign up for their developer program. I know with Microsoft, they have ID at Xbox program that anyone can go sign up for. If you're a developer with a studio, you can sign up there and get support from Microsoft. Um, yes, Sheila mentions Unreal Engine is also free. And yeah, they have good tools. They use blueprints to build games, so you really don't even need to know how to code to make games. I mean, it helps if you know how, but you don't have to. And spending some time learning those tools will be very beneficial to you as you move forward in your career, either as an indie developer or if you're joining a studio. Knowing how all the pieces of creating a game fit together is going to help you immensely. Even if that's not your field, if you're a coder, just knowing a little bit about how art works and the art pipeline of getting assets into created and into a game is very helpful to know as a developer in the industry. Sort of knowing enough about how all the pieces work and fit together is going to be super valuable and make you a more sought after person because it's all a huge creative endeavor that multiple people can be working on at bigger studios. And so understanding those pieces and knowing how that rapport works definitely helps understand how it works. And especially if you're an indie, you need to learn that so you can manage your time and your budgets and build the game that you want to build um, within the amount of time and money that you have to build it. Uh, if anybody has more questions, definitely feel free to ask them. Uh, Somebody wants to learn more about the game workflow, I would definitely say look on YouTube. GDC has a Vault Talks that you can either pay for, or they have some free ones on YouTube, and going there, searching for game design process, game development process, game development workflow. There's definitely a lot of great talks out there from very experienced people in the industry that you can watch and learn from, take a lot of notes on, and then potentially, find those people on a platform like LinkedIn or social media and potentially reach out and ask further questions if you have them. As I said, people are very busy in this industry, but also tend to be very generous with their time. Any suggestions for an inspiring environment artist? Should I be hunting for jobs simply as a game developer? I would say that depends on your experience and how long you've been in the industry. If you're just aspiring and starting out, then I would say you want to specialize as much as possible to make yourself more employable. As a person who's just starting out in the industry, it's very hard to get hired as just a generalist. So you want to build your reputation in one field and then learn as much as you can once you have the job and expand your network and resources from there. And why these communities like Seattle Indies are very important is networking, and networking is paramount to what you can do in this industry, either from employment opportunities to potential funding opportunities in the future for your games. Um, Networking, and that's why a big part of why we come to GDC is to network with our fellow developers and establish those relationships and build those connections with people who we might be able to work with either now or in the future. And that goes back to what I said about being professional and courteous with other people that you meet is you're really only as good as your network and your reputation in this industry. And every bit of business that happens tends to be connected to people that you have made the effort to network with. So we all tend to be a little bit socially awkward and introverted, but getting out there and meeting people is super important. And if you can't make it to a big event, like I said, find an online community and join that and establish relationships with people there. Um, do you have any thoughts on the symbiotic relationship that has arisen around indie development and live streaming? Very much so. Yes, like I said, we have a org that works in Seattle called Seattle Online Broadcasters Association, and Seattle Indies has built a strong relationship with them to help expose our developers to content creators in their organization, and we build relationships between those two so that the content creators can have game developers on their streams. Streaming, like YouTube, TikTok, Twitch is all how people find out about games these days. Uh, and the traditional press doesn't have the kind of influence that it used to have. So building relationships with content creators, finding people who like stream games that are similar to your game is going to be super helpful to you. And I believe, yeah, that's super important and valuable to build those relationships. Appreciate all the nice comments in the chat. I'm happy to have spent some time with you all as well here on a Saturday. I don't know if we have time for any more. If you have any, feel free. As I said, you have my contact info on the screen there. Feel free to send me an email for future comments, and I will follow up with you as soon as I have time once I get back home and have a chance to rest and recuperate because these events take a lot out of you for sure, but they're super fun and invigorating and energizing at the same time. So if you ever get the chance, I highly recommend coming to GDC or an event like Gamescom in Europe if you're on that side of the world, or Gamescom Latam if you're in Latin America. All those are amazing events with tons of game developers that you'll have a great time and just come away feeling super energized. And yeah, I recommend it if you have the opportunity. Yeah, you're welcome.